Okay, go ahead. We're live.
Thank you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Let me wish you a happy New Year from here in Nigeria. My name is Omotola Francis-Akinlolu, and today we will be talking about stimulating creative thinking in our learners, irrespective of the classes, the classes they are, irrespective of their socioeconomic factor, irrespective of where we are in the world. These are, proven strategies that have worked in all class, sizes and the children's age. I'd like to share my screen.
Yes, please.
All right. All right. Can you please confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Fantastic. All right. So, like I said, we'll be looking at stimulating creative thinking in classes. And this is a strategy that has worked, irrespective of where our learners are, who they are. And the target for this session, we're going to explore the term creative. We're going to explore the term stimulate. What does it mean to, stimulate creativity? What does creative thinking mean? Then we're going to brainstorm on activities that we would learn. Give me a moment, please. All right, this is the right one. All right, excellent. We're going to brainstorm on different activities that we would do to do that. But before I continue, I'd like to appreciate the platform that gave me this, the IIU, International Internship University. IIU is a leading virtual education system and global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well-reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe in a short span of time. IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Peyush Pandit, sir, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. Thank you so much for the opportunity that I have this afternoon to join, millions of people all over the world to share best practices. All right. So let's talk about stimulating creative thinking. And today we want to look at the word, like I said, creative thinking. We want to look at stimulate, want to brainstorm on activities that will promote, creative thinking in class. We want to touch points on the theories of multiple intelligences to guide our, lesson deliveries across our cadre of, learning institution. But before then, if you're watching this, I'd like you to just click on this link that you're seeing. If you could just go to Metimeter, just type this and let's play a game. Let's play a game. Just please, in a minute or two, go to this website, Metimeter, and click on it. I could just copy this and share in the link for Emma to just help post it to people. Those watching us on website, on Facebook, for you to just post it there. All right, let's go on. The first fact this afternoon from Nigeria that I'd like us to know is that creativity is a process that can be learned, that can be honed and mastered. Gone are the days where we believe that a child is born creative. And as such, creative children, they are just, it's an innate, an innate trait in them. Gone are the days where educationists believe that, children are born, some are born to be brilliant, some are born to struggle. Now, research has shown that creativity is a process and it can be learned, it can be honed, and it can be mastered. Let's talk about creativity. What is the word? What does it mean? What does creativity mean? It means the ability to create, the ability to invent, the ability to bring up new ideas, the ability to produce all types of words that are used to describe exceptional types of mental performance. That is creativity. All types of exceptional performance is creativity. Creativity can be as the value of it can be the creation of a novel idea, new idea that is valuable to society, irrespective of the social level, in a top-down approach. I'll repeat, it can be a creation of a novel idea. So when a new idea is brought or, out of an old idea, when an old idea is regurgitated to produce a better idea, a more improved idea, you say such idea is a creative idea. And in class, you would agree with me, one of our desires is to have children that are very creative, that are able to use the knowledge they've gained to create another novel ideas that would help them in their academics and help them even in their, in their view about the world and in producing solutions all over the world. Now we want to look at the word stimulate. What does it mean to stimulate? Stimulate is a verb, and it means to encourage something, such as an activity or a process, so that it begins, it increases, or it develops. So when you say you're stimulating something, it means that you are encouraging something, you're encouraging a process to either begin, to increase, or to develop it. So when we say we're stimulating creative thinking in our classes, we are saying we want to, talk about processes that can help our children to begin to, think about something, to increase their level of thinking and involvement, and to develop their skills in being creative. All right. Let's move on. The first thing I'd like you to do now is ask yourself, what have I learned so far? Because remember, we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. So from all I've said so far, what is that light bulb moment for you? I'd like you to note it down. Thank you. So let's talk about ways that we can enhance creativity in class. The first one, we know is expertise. We are as it were, the custodian of knowledge, the teachers. We're going to talk about motivation some other time. But, motivation is also another important ways to encourage creativity. But today, let's even look at the word creative and the thinking skill and how, we can enhance it in our class. The first thing I'd like to talk about this morning is positive relationship. In the 21st century, one of the skills we preach, the four skills we preach, creativity, we preach collaboration, we preach communication and creative, thinking, communication, collaboration. We preach that. And for you to have a class where your children are very creative and they are eager to create new knowledge, you must actually place premium on relationship above curriculum. Curriculum will help them to learn a body of knowledge. Curriculum will let them to read and pass your examination. However, Positive relationship would help them to learn beyond what you have taught them, to remember what you have taught them, or to use what you have taught them to develop new ideas that would give room to novel, production in life. Remember, as a teacher, the apex of our teaching is for our children to create. Communication, we say here, must be multimodal. It is not just you talking, it's about them talking to you, using whatever mode they feel. Do they want to talk about it? Do they want to sing about it? Do they want to rap about it? Do they want to, draw about it? You must encourage positive relationship beyond academic. Don't let your children see you as teachers, a teacher that is only interested in the subject is teaching. Find out about their dog. Oh, ask them how their parents are doing. There was a popular video, that went viral from one of our Asian countries. A teacher designed, a classroom template that when the children are coming in, they have different ways of being greeted. Some will love to be hugged, some will love with a high five, some will love, an elbow, jerk. Some would love to just, have a non-touch communication, just to greet. How often do you greet your children when you enter their classroom? Are you the teacher that will come in and greet them, and the next thing you are telling them is bring out your note, we want to teach? Creativity starts with positive relationship in classroom. Children will listen. They will be more interested when they know that their teacher is interested in their learning process. All right. Please, let's move on. I'd like us to watch this video. And in this video, we will hear from Rita Pearson talk about positive relationship. Please join me.
Both my parents were educators. My maternal grandparents were educators. And for the past 40 years, I've done the same thing. And so needless to say, over those years, I've had a chance to look at education reform from a lot of perspectives. Some of those reforms have been good. Some of them have been not so good. And we know why kids drop out. We know why kids don't learn. It's either poverty, low attendance, negative peer influences. We know why. But one of the things that we never discuss, or we rarely discuss, is the value and importance of human connection. Relationships. James Comer says that no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship.
So sorry, I just want to be sure that you can hear.
George Washington Carver says all learning is understanding relationships. Everyone in this room has been affected by a teacher or an adult. For years, I have watched people teach. I have looked at the best and I've looked at some of the worst. A colleague said to me one time, they don't pay me to like the kids. They pay me to teach a lesson. The kids should learn it. I should teach it. They should learn it. Case closed. Well, I said to her, kids don't learn from people they don't like. She said, that's just a bunch of hooey. And I said to her, well, your year is going to be long and arduous, dear. Needless to say, it was. Some people think that you can either have it in you to build a relationship or you don't. I think Stephen Covey had the right idea. He said you ought to just throw in a few simple things, like seeking first to understand as opposed to being understood. Simple things like apologize. You ever thought about that? Tell a kid you're sorry, they're in shock. I taught a lesson once on ratios. I'm not real good with math, but I was working on it. And I got back and looked at that teacher edition. I taught the whole lesson wrong. So I came back to class the next day and I said, look, guys, I need to apologize. I taught the whole lesson wrong. I'm so sorry. I said, that's okay, Miss Pearson. You were so excited. We just let you go. I have had classes that were so low, so academically deficient that I cried. I wondered, how am I going to take this group in 9 months from where they are to where they need to be? And it was difficult. It was awfully hard. How do I raise the self-esteem of a child and his academic achievement at the same time? One year I came up with a bright idea. I told all my students, you were chosen to be in my class because I am the best teacher and you are the best students. They put us all together so we could show everybody else how to do it. One of the students said, really? I said, really? We have to show the other classes how to do it. So when we walk down the hall, people will notice us. So you can't make noise. You just have to strut. And I gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You say it long enough, it starts to be a part of you. And so I gave a quiz, 20 questions. Student missed 18. I put a +2 on this paper and a big smiley face. He said, Miss Pearson, is this an F? I said, yeah. He said, then why'd you put a smiley face? I said, because you on the roll. You got 2 right, you didn't miss them all. I said, and when we review this, won't you do better? He said, yes, ma'am, I can do better. You see, -18 sucks all the life out of you. +2 said, I ain't all that. For years, I watched my mother take the time at recess to review, go on home visits in the afternoon, buy combs and brushes and peanut butter and crackers to put in her desk drawer for kids that needed to eat, and a washcloth and some soap for the kids who didn't smell so good. See, it's hard to teach kids who stink. And kids can be cruel. And so she kept those things in her desk, and years later, after she retired, I watched some of those same kids come through and say to her, you know, Miss Walker, you made a difference in my life.
That is from a teacher's perspective, talking about, relationship.
You made it work for me. You made me feel like I was somebody when I.
All right. Please confirm, can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? Thank you for that. So talking about relationship that we talked about, the 4 C's of, 21st century skill, we talked about critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Now, if you are going to be the teacher that your children will learn over and over from, you must be a teacher, like I did mention before, that cares about them, that has shown genuine concern about them, a kind teacher. How do you do that in your lessons? You can, incorporate humor in your lessons. Have a positive attitude. Apologize when you're wrong. Show an interest in their lives outside the school. Once they know, remember, they say people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Be the caring teacher. The next one we want to talk about is curiosity. Why? That is a constant, childhood refrain, and many parents are quite relieved once the children outgrow it. But no, if you're going to foster creativity in your classroom, you must encourage them to ask questions. Actually, one of the best things you can do for your learners is to help them develop curiosity. Curiosity begins when they start wondering and questioning. Why is this concept like that? Why is 2 + 2 4? Is there a way we can make 2 + 2 5? Will it be possible to say, by the time I add, nitrogen to oxygen, I will get another formula? Curiosity. When you have a class to take, are you the teacher that would come on board and just write the topic and expect, okay, children, bring out your note, we have a topic for today, we have a subject and we're taking it. Please don't let us do that. For instance, I want to teach now. I can decide on my own to say, okay, I've taught now and I want to go further. And I'm asking, all right, the topic I have today has to do with a naming word. It tells the name of different people, places, things, and a good number of them will raise their hand and say, are you talking about now? And somebody may ask you, what if, or you yourself, what if it's not now? And you will see different ideas coming in. Curiosity is not about a right or wrong answer. Curiosity is about, mind wandering, like, there's the saying, about the right brain that has to do with rational ideas. And with curiosity, you use your left brain. Neuroscientists have told us that left brain, helps us, our mind to wander, to imagine, to create novel ideas. Every product we see today started with an idea, and the idea started with curiosity. Let's move on. Brainstorming. What does it mean to brainstorm? Brainstorming is an excellent teaching strategy that generates ideas on a given topic. Brainstorming helps our learners to produce, divergent thoughts about something. It helps them to promote thinking skills. When a student is asked or a learner is asked to produce, to say everything they know about a concept, it makes them develop their reasoning. It makes them to think beyond the normal topic. And another thing that, brainstorming does is it helps in inclusive education, because in brainstorming, there are no yes or a no answer. So everybody is included. Everybody is happy to be part of, the class. Why? Because they know that there are no yes or no answers. For instance, you are talking about weather and you tell your children, can you list all the words that you can think of on weather? And you will start hearing cloud, rain. You hear words such as, atmosphere, distillation, condensation rather, evaporation. You hear words such as umbrella. You hear such word as raincoat. Whatever you want to think of, you hear such as rainbow. You hear such words such as cardigan, and you bring all those ideas together to talk about weather. As a teacher, your plan may be to define weather and talk about, the different weather that you have in your own area or in your own country. However, brainstorming with them will help them to think beyond the subject, the topic you are looking at, and think of a wider scope to get it reached. And if you can see what I have here, you can see what I have here, you have, when you brainstorm, there are different types. You could decide to give them mind map. We learned this yesterday, where children write every word they know about it and they draw and make inferences on it. You have open mind. You have, the matrix. If I dice it, what would I have? Which word comes to your mind? Which word is similar here? All on brainstorming. Another beautiful thing about, brainstorming is that it fosters peer learning and teamwork. Remember, we said the first level of promoting creativity in your class is for you to be, to foster positive relationship with your learners, not just you as a teacher, even amongst themselves. So when they brainstorm, it's a great way to foster peer learning and teamwork. They work together, they bring up their ideas together. Those that are more able to help those that are, less able to do it. And by so doing, you're having a rich content in the class. You're having learn peer tutoring going on. And as a matter of fact, at the end of the day, every learner in your class would pick a topic or a concept from what they've learned. One of the ways, to brainstorm it helps the children. One of the ways, to brainstorm, rather, like I was saying, is that you tell them to write as many ideas as much as possible. They should record their ideas, and you're not evaluating a right or a no answer. Let them just say it. Let them just write it. Let them just wrap it, however they want to do. For instance, again, apart from whether you can ask them, you're teaching art, for instance, and you hold a pencil, you want them to draw a pencil, and you're asking them, can you talk about all the components that makes up a pencil? And somebody is telling you, oh, tree, somebody is telling you lead, somebody is telling you minor scientists, and they keep giving you different examples just on it. For instance, in literacy, while brainstorming, you want to teach a verb, let's take the word said, and you're asking them, children, can you brainstorm and tell me all the words you can learn from the word say? What other words can I bring up from the word say? What other words? What are the synonyms of said? And you hear so many things: shrek, yell, below, whispered. And it goes on and on and on. And at the end of the day, you have a rich curriculum bank in your classroom. The children may not remember the said. It could be another word that was said during the brainstorming session that a child will learn and use to write a note. Another word that we're going in for is for us to give room for constructive struggle. As parents, as teachers, we are tempted at times, especially for children that are low abilities, in order to say, okay, we have their IEP, we make it simple to them. This is not one of the best ways to foster creativity in them. You must give room for constructive struggle. An effective teacher provides problems that reach from straightforward answer to those ones that are, a little bit complex, where they will have to infer on past knowledge to come about their answers. And in every lesson, you must put a dash of that to them and let them on their own be able to infer the answers. When you see that they are struggling, you may pair them up with a learner, somebody who is more able to explain the process. Yourself as a teacher, you can give prompts to them. Help them, give them prompts, give them hints so that they'll be able to, get the concept, a previously learned concept, and know that it can be applied in this new problem. And from there, they will solve their whatever challenge they have in math or in other subjects. Give room for constructive struggle. Constructive struggle occurs when an effective teacher knows how to provide guiding questions in a way that stops short of telling students everything they need to know about a particular subject. Don't spoon feed them. Let them grow. Like the saying goes that the brain is actually a muscle. It stretches. Let them stretch their muscle. Let them stretch their muscle. Another word is teach multidisciplinary. Teach multidisciplinary. The International Bureau of Education, that's UNESCO, IBE, UNESCO, they specified 3 major areas of contemporary approach to curriculum integration. One, we have what we call multidisciplinary, and that is what I'm talking about, interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary. What is multidisciplinary? It is the study of a topic from the viewpoint of more than one discipline when solving it. For example, you want to talk about CO2 emission, in class, and you're studying, you're telling them how to improve the car engine performance. You're telling them, okay, class, when we reduce the CO2 emission from a car, it can be achieved by studying how to develop fuel chemistry. Remember, the main topic you're teaching them is reduction of CO2 emission. But you have gone ahead to tell them ways they can do that, how they can do that, extending it to other concepts that is not covered in your topic. I wrote here, I said, Multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary learning is a whole and or comprehensive method that covers an idea, a topic, or text by integrating multiple knowledge domains. It is a very powerful method of teaching that crosses the boundary of the discipline or curriculum in order to enhance the scope and depth of learning. Each discipline shed light on the topic like a facet of a gem. For instance, I want to talk about, design of let's say a medical design, maybe a syringe, for instance, and we're talking about it. What do we use a syringe to do? Who uses a syringe? How is syringe made? Who are those people that you think are responsible for getting the materials, the raw materials in making the syringe? Your children will start giving you different ideas, or yourself in the process of teaching, you are expanding their knowledge to see beyond syringe and hospital, to see, asking themselves, to see business in it. Some of them that are a bit entrepreneurs, they start seeing business in it. Those of them, that are into raw materials, they're looking at it and say, okay, I can get, rubber, I can work with it and develop the structure. Those of them that are into, innovative designs are looking at it and say, why is a syringe this shape? Can I think of ways that the design can be that will be a bit more sophisticated and easier to use, just because you are teaching syringe? Teaching multidisciplinary will help open the children's world beyond the local content we are teaching them. Like I did give example of pencil the other time. In art class, you want them to use pencil, or you want them to draw pencil, and you're telling them what are the materials that we use to make this pencil. How is it gotten? They are telling you, oh, we need to cut down trees. It is from the trees that we get, the wood, and from there we make it into this. And you're asking them, okay, so how do you think we can preserve our, forests so that the next 10, 20 years that we need to make, to have trees, that we need to have pencils, we can still get, pencils. And somebody is already thinking of forestation. To say, okay, for everyone we plant, for everyone we cut, we can encourage them to plant. And a child is thinking, all right, let's start now. In our school, can we just start having a garden, so that by the time we grow old, we can have trees? Another child is looking at it and say, lead. How do we make lead? Is it a natural, mineral? How is it excavated? Can it be made in the lab? Now, those that are into design are saying, why is a pencil like that? Can we make it a U shape? Will it work? And, those are in the medical field are asking and say, why must it be pointed? Must lead be used? We say lead is dangerous when swallowed. What other, material can we use to get this? Just because you're teaching an art class on pencil drawing, but because you've been able to link it here to teach multidisciplinary, the children are learning so many concepts in one topic. All right. I ask again, what have you learned so far? Do you want to reflect on what you have learned? How has it been? What is that thing you want to start doing in your class? What is that thing you want to stop doing? What is that thing you want to encourage doing in your class? Please can you just take a moment to think about it. All right. Let's go to the next one. We stimulating divergent thinking. And the key word in divergent thinking is what if? What if it's not like that? What if the switch doesn't go up to switch it on? What if the light bulb what if the switch needs to go down to switch the light bulb on? What if the aeroplane doesn't have wings? So many novel ideas you see. Right now we see electric cars. It started because people are thinking, what if we have a car that doesn't run on fuel? What if we want to make clean environment? And because we want clean environment, can we do away with fossil fuel? Divergent thinking. Another name, of course, for divergent thinking is lateral thinking. And it's a beautiful one because it helps us to talk about ideas generated as a result of brainstorming. For convergent thinking, everything goes this way. It is fact and it will give you idea. 2 plus 2 is always 4. A noun is always the name of a particular person. Some children will learn so much that even your examples are what they will give during their examination. You haven't taught well. Divergent thinking helps them to use their imagination, where you start bringing up ideas. A lot of ideas. When you teach divergent thinking, and how do you do that? When you raise a question in the classroom, ask them to think of how they solved it. There was this, this task I said we're going to do on Mentimeter. I did a test run here just to check this divergent thinking at home. And I called some children to look at it and provide the answer. 3 children, 2 of them said the answer was 1. The other one said the answer was 4. There was no right or wrong answer. I asked them, I said, could you explain your answer? Now, the one who got the first one, which happens to be the correct answer, had a different orientation, a different idea of how he got this answer. By the time the second person was saying it, the person also had a completely different idea. And at the end of the day, they reached the same answer, but different parts to their answer. And the other one that got first said, oh, I get it. He combined the idea of the first one, the second one, and created his own novel idea. That is learning. That is children owning their learning, learners owning their learning. As you teach in classroom, don't just mark the answers, mark the process. Let them talk about the process. You know why? It's when you teach divergence in class, divergent thinking in class, it helps children to find creative ways to solve the problems. It assesses the answer from multiple perspectives. They are looking at the answer from multiple perspectives, like the example I just gave. The first child that got 1 used the word has to get his 1. The other one thinks, okay, they have the Mr. X has 4 children or 4 girls, and each of them has, I can't really recollect how he got the answer, but he has to do, he did his own permutation, 4 divided by 4, something like that, and he got his 1. I'm very sure if I ask you how you got your answer, you would also have a different idea. And this is what we're saying that we should preach in our classes. Our children should be able to explain multiple perspectives towards getting an idea. And the beauty of divergent thinking is that it helps them to learn from one another. By the time this person is saying it from his POV, his point of view, and the other one is saying from point of view, it gives them a richer perspective about a topic you are teaching. Recall the 6 Thinking Heart by De Bono. When we said the 6 Thinking Hearts, you're asking yourself, in class this morning, and I remember when I was still active in class, there was a year I created this as a bulletin board display in my class. And anytime I want the children in my class to think, I will tell them, all right, everybody, put on your white thinking hat. And they just go this way. Once they wear the white thinking hat, what are we looking out for? We're looking out for data, facts, other insight. I remember when there was a time we talked about the Buckingham Palace. We read about it and we started looking at facts from it, from the passage we read. Then other insight, what else can you infer from what we have read? The blue thinking arts will tell you, oh, what do we need to do further here? So even when you're teaching mathematics and your learners get it right, can you push them to think further? How else would you have solved this if this number is changed, for instance? And for every time you use your thinking heart, let the children also use the same thinking heart, so that you are helping them to tailor their thinking so that it is not just disjointed. You want to talk about opportunities and recommendations. Don't let a child start talking on strength as it were. Let us focus on this. Thereafter, we'll move on to this so that their thoughts are aligned as they should be. Another example that comes to mind when we're talking of, divergent thinking is, for us, let's say you're at work and the paper machine or the photocopy machine jammed. The first thing a convergent thinker will do is, oh, it's jammed. Let's call the engineer to do it. A divergent thinker will say, oh, it's jammed. We need to call the engineer. But let's talk about it. What do you think will be responsible for this? Has anyone experienced it? Has it been solved before? What can I do about it? Do I need to learn about it? Some of them will go further to go and learn DIY, how to solve it online. And at the end of the day, the person takes ownership of that action so that subsequently, if it happens, they don't need to call another person. They know the answer. And by the time they're talking about it, they can help other people see perspective or maybe what they need to do or what not they should do in order to have the paper, machine not jammed. It's good to think that. All right. The next one I'd like to talk about is give and prompt feedback. Give and prompt feedback, teachers. Feedback is also central to teaching in education. Feedback is any response regarding a student performance or behavior. It can be verbal, it can be written, it can be gestural. Let them give you feedback. You give them feedback. The purpose of feedback in the assessment and learning performance is to improve students' performance. And many a times, we are the ones that give feedback to learners. It's high time we start soliciting feedback from them. I was still going to talk about that briefly. How do you give feedback? You can encourage that in your class, even during group work. Let them give feedback amongst themselves while you listen to them. Let a child talk, invite another child to give feedback on that. So like those of us, some of us may have, children in a large class, like that. Give feedback. It can be choral responses. It can be cold calling. It can be, peer talk. What do you think about what this person has said? Do you think that this answer will solve this problem? Can we talk about the strength in this point I just made? What do you think will be the problem in this example I made? And of course, for us as teachers, one of the ways during plenary to get feedback is the flashcard. And I don't know how many of us, practice, we use the traffic light card. It's a way to get feedback. If you understand this concept, could you use your green card? They will raise it. If you understand somewhat, do you want to use the yellow card or the amber rather? Then if you do not understand the concept, if it is still confusing to you, do you want to use the red card? And they use the, you get your feedback. I have seen other teachers, creatively design their feedback mechanism. If you understand, do a thumbs up. If you do not understand, do a thumbs down. If you understand somewhat, just do a side thumb. Soliciting feedback. And I do know, I hope we also know that we also can look at ourselves and practice reflective practice where we check ourselves and give ourselves feedback. Asking ourselves at the end of the day, have I taught this lesson well? How else can I teach this lesson? How else can I talk to those children in a way that they will understand better? You can also do peer, review where you have a teacher sit in your class and critique what you've done and give you feedback. Feedback will help you learn. It will help your children to learn. Remember, we're talking about in the classroom. And we are part of the classroom. So we are not saying the children as only those in the classroom. The classroom is a community. It comprises the teachers and the pupil. So whatever they are doing, you too need to do that. You give them feedback, you prompt feedback from them. And a beautiful thing is that it makes them to start thinking. They'll become more focused in the class because they do not know when you're going to call them or how you're going to ask them. And for some of them that will tell you, I do not understand, don't just take it, ask them, what do you not understand about the topic? So the child is able to give you a concrete, point on the area they need help. Please, may it not be that at the end of your lesson, the next thing is you want to do assessments, written assessment to check. Ask them through gesture, let them know. Choral responses, let them know. Written, let them know. Verbal, let them know. You can solicit the feedback. You can tell another person to give the feedback. You can ask them to write their feedback down. You yourself can get feedback from them. It will spark creativity in your classroom. The next one is celebrate success. Effort, pardon me. You celebrate effort. According to David Jerians, 3 reasons to recognize efforts are: 1, it avoids alienation. And we're preaching inclusivity in classroom. No child is left behind. When you celebrate effort, the children that are doing fairly well know that, oh, I have made an attempt. Remember what teacher Rita Pearson said when the child scored 2. I said, oh, it is thanks. 2 makes it well. I will do better. There is nothing as beautiful as a child owing their success. I have done 2 today. I have made effort today. I remember a child I taught years before. I got to that class and the child, the mom told me, that this boy has a problem, a challenge with spelling. And we tried everything that we could do, normally to get it. But he wasn't just getting better. So during the World Cup of that year, I think I can't remember the year, an idea just sprang in my mind that, okay, this boy loves wrestling and football. So we did a spelling test and he got 1. And instead of me to write 1/10, I wrote 1 goal scored. He came to me and said, Miss, I said, yes. He said, you wrote 1 goal scored. Did I score a goal? I said, yes, you scored 1 goal out of the 10 goals we have for this class. And he just got to me and said, yeah. Others looked at him and said, what happened, Ini? He said, I just scored 1 goal. And every other person said, oh, I got 8 goals, I got 7 goals. That was what, motivated Ini. The next time, because it was a daily issue, the next time we had it, he got 2. And before the end of that term in class, Ini was on an average of 8/10 in spelling, just because I was celebrating his efforts. Another one is it reinforces healthy attitude about success. Remember that success is a journey and not a destination. When you celebrate effort, those children know that they are on their way to getting improved. They're on their way to improving on their best. They're not yet there, but they have moved. A child that scored 3 yesterday and moved to 4/10 has moved. It will not be a movement from A to B. It could be a movement from A1 to A2, but there is a movement. Of course, it encourages growth mindset. They know that if I can do it, if I can try it, I can get better at it. Mistakes help me to grow. Let us celebrate effort. And please mind your comments, teachers. Many times, you've prepared your beautiful lesson plans, you have used your materials, you have gone online to search, you have integrated tech into IT into what you have prepared, yet some children still do not get it. Mind your comments at that point. A child may not remember the topics or the subjects you have taught. A child will remember what you have said to help him or her improve, or just give room to fix mindset and make the child not to like that subject forever. Be careful. That is why we recommend when you're upset in your class, take a walk, count 1 to 10 and take a walk. Oh, I have taught you, you still do not understand. Why is it that you do not understand? No. By the time you practice every other, procedures that we've mentioned before, you will most likely not have a child struggling. And if you do have a child struggling, you look at the problem, you alienate the person from the problem. The child is a person that needs to be respected. The problem is the child hasn't learned. And because the child hasn't learned, we think of how to help the child learn. Do you want to break it? Do you want to scaffold his learning process? Do you want to pair him with a peer mentor? Do you want to make him sit back while you explain to him again? Do you want to look at your own method and see the one that suits him and the one that does not suit him? Remember what I said. We must value positive relationship beyond curriculum. Curriculum will learn, one way or the other, they will learn it. But what you say may mar or make them for years. Be careful, teachers. Play, play, and play. Many a times, the older these children get, the more we box them to the four corners of classroom. Please let them play. Let them go out. Let them breathe fresh air. Let them see you as human that can play. Take them out to the field to run. Let them sit outside and you teach them. It spurs creativity. A child that is looking at plants today, by the time you are teaching about photosynthesis tomorrow, the plant the child saw may just inspire that child to go and learn all about photosynthesis, much more than you have taught, and come back to the class to teach them. That time you took the child outside and the child sees a leaf, that may spur the child to eventually grow up to say, okay, I want to be a botanist when I grow up. I want to have a gardening in my house. Or I want to learn about the impact of, afforestation in global warming. Let them play. Here, I said too much structure is the enemy of creativity. Don't be too rigid. Don't let them sit in the class from 8 a.m. to 2, 3 p.m., whatever they want to do. And that is why you see children, excelling in co-curricular activities, because when our time is done outdoor, they are free to explore their creativity. Mariam, Stenger said it, too much structure is the enemy of creativity. And talking about, the theories of multiple intelligences, these children learn various ways, through various channels. They have their learning style. We've always said they are the VAC learner, it's that they are visual, it's that they are audio, auditory, it's that they are kinesthetic. But beyond that, we're saying that there are, as it were, 9 known according to, Edward Gardner, that there are 9 levels or 9 ways the children can learn. Whatever subject you're teaching them, whatever topic you're teaching them. Are we infusing a bit of music in your lesson? Can it be rhythmic? Are you using your body language? Just like I told us, when we're making plenary, it's either you're using they are using the traffic lights, it's either they're using their hand. In what part of your lesson do you want them to move to another, just to stretch their legs? Is your topic or your subject, is it relatable? Do you have them to have peer talk where they talk to their partners? What choice of words are you using? What element of nature are you infusing in them? Are you giving them room for them to do their seat work so that on their own they can put what they have learned into perspective in writing? What are you showing them? Even if you are, teaching in a rural area where there is no internet, can you draw something and make them see it? Can they go home and look for it and come? Can they improvise? Can you create it in class? When we teach with this, with this knowledge of multiple intelligences, it helps our lesson become very much, child-centered. It helps our lesson become not just fun, but easy to understand. And it makes lasting, memory. It lingers in their mind for a long time. They remember this, and it helps them to produce knowledge. As we plan to, round off the session, I have, the 3, 2, 1 exit tickets. I want you to ask yourself as a matter of personal reflection, 3 things you found, 2 interesting things that you have learned today, and 1 question you have. Do you want to write them down? In the course of this teaching, what are the 3, points that hit out at you? What are the 2 interesting things that, you found you want to explore? And what is the question you have? Thank you so very much for your time and your attention. I am Omotola, like I said, and these are my social media handles. Thank you so much, IIU, for the opportunity you've given unto me to share, from what I've known. I hope that it will help enrich our classrooms and become better at it. Thank you so very much. Good afternoon from here.